Hello, this is Dr. Dave from the Fourth Dimension, and I'm here to give you my synthesis of the Goode information being disclosed through the David Wilcock interviews on Gaiam TV and through several other interviews, including Coast to Coast, in 5D Radio, all of them that I've been able to find on the internet. I've listened to all of them, and I want to say that Goode, this is extremely important work you are doing, perhaps the most important work any human has done on this planet in thousands of years. And we are all here to support you in your effort. Even if I can't be one of the insiders that comes out, I'm here to tell you that I am a person on this planet that truly appreciates what you're doing, the risks you're taking, and I want to give you all the support I can. Dr. Dave from the Fourth Dimension. I've been tweeting you and texting you, hopefully not scaring you with the Dr. Dave from the 4D. That's just my handle. And I try to go deep, and I try to come up with human, spiritual solutions to all of life's problems and non-problems. So that's a very important point Corey brings up, that he has been instructed, and even, I don't know what the word is, but you've been made clear not to make this into a religion. And I'll tell you what, I am 100% behind that. But I also think it's impossible to turn something into a religion because of the definition of religion. And this is my definition of religion. It is one's personal relationship with God. That's it. One's personal relationship with God. It doesn't involve anybody else but oneself. Because inside of each of us is a little piece of God, a little fractal of God. And if you know what a fractal is, that means a whole entity of God is inside of us. A fractal is like if you take a piece of a body part. Oh, I'm outside in God's universe. I'm sorry if it's a little loud, but I was feeling inspired to do this, and I just had to pull over on a long journey and just get this done because I've been thinking about it for 2 days. A fractal is like if you take a piece of a human body, an arm or a leg, that does not represent the entire person. But if you take a piece of a cloud, you take a little piece of a cloud, in that cloud is the entire essence of the cloud. It is a cloud, but yet the part you took from remains, because when you take a little piece of infinity, the truth of the matter is the exact same amount is left over for everybody else to take from too, and that is God. No matter what we talk about, whether it's religion or spiritual facts of the universe, know that this is all to help us in our progression. You can call it science, you can call it humanity, you can call it sociology, but if you call it religion, you're misnaming it. And you're misconceiving it, because religion is our relationship with God, and that is personal to everyone. And the news that has been brought for thousands of years is that we do not need any other person, any other entity, no church, no priest, no publican, nobody to tell us, interpret God for us, to tell us what God means. What God means is our own personal interpretation, and that is actually why we're here, is to interpret God. The trillions and trillions, that's not even a high enough number, of people that have lived on this planet and other planets have all interpreted God in their own way. And that's okay, because God is all of that and more. Having said that, I want to assure everybody that this is not going to be turned into a religion by me. Besides, I don't even think it's possible by that definition I gave you. I think what people refer to when they refer to religion is actually worship, right? We come together to worship God, and that is right and that is good. But it's not what we're talking about here. And we're going to keep that worship, that church, out of this discussion. But when it comes to religion, there are just universal facts that they are what they are, and you have to deal with them on a personal level, no matter what you've believed before, right? Corey's talked about, as he goes throughout the universe, and he goes everywhere, he hears of the prime source and center. He hears of these terms for God. But one thing that's important about God is he doesn't care what you call him. I don't think he's ever even given a name to anybody. He's let his nature be known, but he's never given a name. Some of the names that Corey talked about correspond, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a Urantia Book reader. Urantia. And those of us that believe in it, believe it to be a special book. But one thing that's important is it also says this is not a religion, right? This is not to be turned into a religion. You can worship however you see fit, but this information that's being distributed is for scientific, it's really for spiritual progression, so that we can catch up to the rest of progression that's taken place in our reality. The reason, Corey, why so many Urantia Book readers are just astounded by what you're saying is because I don't know if you know how much you are affirming and restating the information that was revelation in the Urantia Book when it was published in 55. I'm going to start with some of the names that you said for God. I mean, the Urantia Book tells us that as we travel throughout this super universe, this omni-universe, as I like to call it, that there's different names for God that we're going to find. First source, universal center, prime source and center, right? First creative source, divine center, father of universes, infinite upholder, divine controller, father of lights, gift of life, all-powerful one. Paradise father, father of father, Havona father, spirit father, and my personal favorite, just father. And what it says is as we begin to progress in our relationship with God, we will inevitably conclude that it is a personal relationship that is, it might, I don't know what happens on other planets, so it's hard to say, but certainly here where we live, it is akin to the father and child relationship. We are the children and God is the father. I personally have a theory for why he chose father as the analogy, because all of these are just analogies to try and understand that which is ununderstandable. And I think if you think about what a father is in biologic terms, a father plants a seed inside of another person, right? And then that seed is left to grow and develop entirely outside of the father, right? It's inside the mother that the seed grows and that the seed is born and that the seed is even nurtured for its first 9 months of existence. The father is nowhere in that picture after he plants his seed except on a spiritual level and on other levels, but in the biologic level, nowhere to be found. It's all the woman that takes care of the seed. And then when the seed develops into a certain point and comes out into the world, that's when the father is seen for the first time by the child and still not recognized for maybe a decade, right, in human years. So father is a very apt analogy. All of these things are analogies to understand that which is 100% spiritual. He is who 100% spiritual. Now, what we find is as we go out into the universe, I mean, some of the things that you said in some of your interviews demonstrated that even more advanced people, and maybe people extraterrestrials, I was a little unclear on that, really don't understand the concept of God. Maybe we on this planet understand it better than ever, better than anybody. Because we understand that, for instance, when you talked about the questions to Ra Tier, and one of them was about a soul trap. Well, these beings that asked about a soul trap, that shows a basic lack of knowledge of what the soul is. The soul is the gift of free will personality. Free will equals personality equals gift of life equals our person, right? Nobody can take that. Nobody. It's a gift from the prime source and center himself. And it is, even with all the technology of the most advanced planets, nobody can touch the soul. The soul is ours, and it is God's. And so soul traps, that just shows that these people don't even realize what the soul is or what happens after death. None of us are sure what happens after death, but I can tell you this. We continue on a potentially eternal path to find God in paradise. And that path is going to be so surprising at so many levels, and it's a near eternal path, or maybe eternal path. We become eternal when we fuse with God, for we ourselves could never become eternal. It's only in fusion with the prime source that we become eternal. So to think that some technology or somebody from another planet or even somebody from within a planet, no matter who they are, they can never steal our soul. And our soul is always the culmination of our own personal choices throughout our life. Again, our free will choices, choices that can never be made by anybody other than ourselves, right? No matter how we're influenced, no matter what they tell us, teach us, trick us into, no matter what, each individual decision is our own to make, right? How much time do you spend in the morning deciding what shirt to put on, what pants to put on, right? every decision throughout the entire day, throughout the entire week, and throughout our entire lives is a minute-by-minute process of making personal decisions. And at the end of those, the mortal life, the culmination of those ethical decisions is who we are. And it, again, can never be made by anybody else. It's only us. I'm going to take a little break here.